nowadays people talk a lot about ashwagandha in being used asli kaun sa hai, nakli kaun sa hai, but how recommended it is in terms of, I know that safe for an over-the-counter sell ashwagandha tablets or pastes or whatever the form that they comes in.
But if you ask me personally, the best drug for mental well-being is exercise on empty stomach.
On empty stomach.
Yeah. But yes, curry leaf unke diet mein अच्छे से रहती है, fish is there, and coconut in everything. So that is one thing. And then when you look at Kerala's climate, it is humid. Humid. तो वहाँ पे hair जल्दी dry नहीं होता है. So there's a moisture in the hair, and that kind of helps, with the thickness and other things.
Welcome, Dr. Aditi, to Driving a Startup podcast. We are very excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Pankaj. Happy to be here.
This is a very most awaited, anticipated podcast, with our team. Everyone had so many questions already framed out before they, once they got to know that who are we getting to our podcast. So this is how I explained them, that who are we getting. And so I said, in the world of health, there's a magnitude of two very significant players that generally people get themselves aware of at least. So इस spectrum में एक side में there is something and there is on the other side there is one more thing. First of all, so एक side में हम जिसकी बात कर रहे हैं, obviously there is an allopathy healthcare and there is obviously the most in trend or people who are using it left, side and center in their terminologies at least is Ayurvedic and more organic and everything.
Yeah.
First of all, why do these two departments or two good doing things to people fight among each other a lot? What's the friction like? Why is it though at the first place?
Okay, fantastic question to begin with. So basically, I'm an MD in Ayurveda, but like while growing up, when we say that I want to be a doctor, at least when I was wanting to be a doctor, there was no Ayurveda angle to it. Okay, so it was all like allopathy doctor and MBBS and stuff like that. So that was the dream, that was the goal. And I lost my MBBS seat by 1 rank. And that is when I started to explore alternate medicines, because I wanted a doctor before my name. And I couldn't live without the fact that I will not be called as Dr. Aditi.
Was it like a dream from parents? Or?
No, that was my dream since 2nd grade. Okay. I kept telling everybody I met, my dad, my mom, my relatives, that I'm going to be a doctor. But yes, life happened. And then that's when I started exploring, and my dad took me to a lot of Vaidyas, Ayurveda doctors, and they kind of encouraged me to join the stream of medicine, which I was blissfully unaware of previously. And I think that has been the best decision of my life, and I thank God every day for it, that I lost my MBBS seat and I got into science that cares so much about people, that cares so much about our bodies, that doesn't separate entities, that doesn't separate mind is different, body is different, liver is different, colon is different. No. As a single entity, Ayurveda helped me understand body's intelligence to the core. And
so are you saying that mostly in allopathy, everything is treated very separately?
Now that, now given the experience, so let me just point out this thing, that when we were studying Ayurveda, we were made to study allopathy syllabus and also Ayurvedic syllabus. So it's a commonality of both. So अगर आप आयुर्वेदा के दोषास के बारे में हमें सिखा रहे हो, तो मॉडर्न मेडिसिन का एनाटॉमी भी हम लोगों ने सीखा है, फिजियोलॉजी भी हम लोगों ने सीखा है. So our classes used to be integrative.
Can you think? I don't think कि फिर medical actual core allopathy में ये है, कोई पढ़ाता ही नहीं होगा.
This is why, this is the answer to your question, कि why we keep fighting. So we understood allopathy the way it is, and I understood Ayurveda the way it is. And now, given 10 years of experience, learnings and everything, now I know how to integrate these two. So I am not anti-allopathy or anti-homeo or anti-Unani, or I'm just not pro-Ayurveda. I am pro-science, and any science of any medicine that helps my patient, that is it for me. I don't create noise around it or controversies around it. So there is a lot of integration aspect that I have learned. Thankfully, I've been lucky. Not everybody gets that kind of education. But there is this lack of awareness about basic Ayurveda principles and how it is so unscientific to the other medicinal world, to allopathic doctors who have no idea about it.
पहले let's just talk about what you just said. It's very interesting कि Ayurveda में allopathy तो पढ़ाते ही.
No. I think probably there have been certain changes in the syllabus very recently, but the way we had studied, like we used to buy proper anatomy textbooks, right, surgery text and physiology text. So हमारा खर्चा दोनों sides से होता था. So we have to buy Ayurvedic textbooks and then this as well. So that kind of integration is missing, and which is why there is a conflict of knowledge, conflict of interest in both the systems of medicine.
Medical की जो timeline है study की, that is about 5 years, right?
So it's 5.5 years. It's the same for Ayurveda as well.
Yeah.
5.5 years of undergraduation. And then in that 5.5 years, there is 1 year of internship. My internship was in Mumbai. So, and luckily over there, I had a 3-month of internship in a proper allopathic hospital, in a casualty wing, emergency ward, stuff like that. So we were taught how to deal with emergencies as well. And then after that you give an entrance, and then there is 3 years of MD. So the duration is on par with MBBS, ND. Yeah.
So फिर तो allopathy में भी I think if there is a length of education duration, उसमें भी तो they can sort of figure out a way how the allopathy doctors can be made aware of how this side of the world science works, and
I think the subtle changes have. Yes, I agree with you, and I think it's unfair to Ayurveda that only the Ayurvedic students are learning about Ayurvedic, and I think any stream of medicine.
Solutions ki medical colleges में just make an integrative course, just education, and it doesn't seem like a very far-fetched solution, right?
So I think that process had already started, Pankaj, but there was some hesitation from certain people to not include or club the syllabus. So this is just for awareness and understanding of the science. We are not telling you ki just because you have an MBBS degree, you should practice Ayurveda as well. That's not correct. But just to have a basic understanding of the system of medicine and not call it unscientific, I think just for that, we need to start creating this awareness.
Which healthcare system do you like the most? Like, is it something that what Japanese do, or is it something that, say, a Chinese medicine healthcare ecosystem looks like? Or is it only divided among Ayurveda and allopathy? These are the only two players?
So far in my practice, I have only dealt with allopathy and Ayurveda. So if you want a clarity for this, growing up, like mom used to give me a lot of homeopathy medicine. So they worked for me, they worked for my brother. It is essentially what works for somebody. But when you talk about best medical system of medicine, I don't think aise kuch cheez hai. The world needs a bit of everything. And particularly with reference to Ayurveda and allopathy, I want to say that Ayurveda and allopathy are like two parallel lines.
Okay.
They can never meet, but they can walk together parallelly, and it depends.
It's not supposed to meet.
It's not supposed to meet. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. There is no requirement of them, integration. I am not promoting mixopathy. That's a difference. There's a difference to it. But what I'm saying is, if there is an acute emergency, obviously people will turn to an allopathic hospital. There will be an MRI scan. There will be 100 other investigations, and
just when do you introduce a form of medication?
The referral
journey of.
Exactly. The referral of a patient to which system of medicine at that point of time, that knowledge is crucial. Like when a disease is diagnosed, what will work the best for a patient is very, very crucial.
So, and in research, we sort of identified that most of the people who adopt to Ayurvedic form of medicine for their life, obviously emergencies and anything chronic aside, is only because they were able to build trust with some doctor or a medicine or a therapy that worked for them.
Yeah.
You just said, right? Homeopathy works for some people.
Yeah, homeopathy. Yeah.
So the more it works for people, the more trust building it gets. So ideally, I don't know if that's true or not, but is it also because it has not worked for a lot of people, that's why it is this clash?
No.
Or it was because trust building in allopathy is so high.
Yeah.
You don't question anything. Yeah. I go to a doctor, he says this is this. And it's set. I can't deny it. Obviously I don't understand. That's why I can't deny it.
Yeah.
But in Ayurveda, people do have hesitation of denial, and they're like, "Okay, maybe it will not work for me," or this is. How do you change that trust factor the most?
Yeah, so telling from personal experiences, the trust factor starts the moment you meet your doctor. It all depends at that communication, that consultation which happens. People don't question allopathy doctors a lot because the consultations are usually done within 10 minutes. The symptoms are taken, A, B, C, prescribed, take this, come back after a month. But just giving an example of my consultations and how I build trust in my patient. Nobody comes with 100% trust. They all come with tons of questions, particularly with relation to chronic diseases. Okay, I'm not dealing with any acute emergencies as of now, but chronic diseases which have been there for years together, the patient has suffered for years together, and they're not finding a solution in allopathy. That's when they come. So that trust factor
that becomes, when you say that becomes a secondary choice of treatment?
Definitely.
It is today,
I
yes.
have I want to admit this, that it's definitely not the first choice to go to. There are very few percentage of people who actually believe and come to Ayurveda. And that lack of awareness has been there since long. I can't change it single-handedly. But especially when it comes to cancer and other diseases, people will go to chemo first. People will go to radiation first. People will consult an oncologist first.
That's a very strong thing. If you can use Ayurveda for maintenance.
Yeah, because people call Ayurveda as traditional system of medicine. Oh, it's the oldest system of medicine. I call Ayurveda as preventive disease medicine. So Ayurveda is more about disease prevention. And one of the beautiful experiences I want to share here today is when I was studying Ayurveda, when we opened textbooks like we have Ashtanga Hridaya and Charak and all of those things, when we started reading Ashtanga Hridaya, we did not study about diseases from day one. So the first few chapters were fully dedicated on how to prevent a disease, how to maintain health, what your daily regimen should look like, what your daily lifestyle should look like, what your seasonal regimens should look like, all of these things. And I actually fell in love with it. I think that's the fourth chapter. It's called Roga Anutpadaniya Adhyay, which means it is a chapter of disease prevention. And
Roga
Anutpadaniya Adhyay. So, it's Sanskrit. I mean, we studied in Sanskrit. So, that got me hooked to the science. I think that was the key factor.
With the way you're explaining it, it sounds so simple, to be honest.
Yeah.
Teach everyone about Ayurveda, simple as that. And teach it, if not people, teach the doctors.
Yeah.
It's a curriculum, you just have to add it to your 5, 7, 8 years of your studying career.
Yeah.
And it's in everything in favor of the patients or healthcare in general.
Correct.
If you teach them.
Yeah.
You will be more receptive to it, you'll be more adaptive to Ayurveda. In fact, I would love to sort of see, and I think there are some hospitals who have started doing it, that having an integrative Ayurvedic clinic or a doctor on board as a allopathy as well, and they are promoting integrative holistic healthcare going forward, which makes total sense. If you don't need something for something and can be prevented or done by
other system
of medicine, as you say, why not?
Yeah.
Why would anybody want to sort of not work towards building the best for what the patient or carer requires?
I think people misunderstand Ayurveda with herbs and metals and other things. So it's not that. Ayurveda is just not that. It is a lifestyle in itself. So when you say ki let's teach doctors about this, we are not promoting ki aap ashwagandha lo or aap ye le lo, aap turmeric le lo and other things like that. But we are promoting an Ayurveda based lifestyle. And it doesn't include herbs. Let me just clarify that.
Okay.
It's like what time you're waking up, what is the first thing you're drinking in the morning, what time are you exercising, what time are you having your breakfast, do you have appetite or not. These are the basic things that we just need to, Ayurveda incorporates these things, and this is something that we need to train every system of medicine, a doctor in every other system of medicine. This basic understanding of how to preserve health is Ayurveda.
It which sort of is adopted very heavily. Sustainability as a whole is advertised well, and it is also adopted heavily.
Yeah.
Similarly, in terms of healthcare, a lot of things are being advertised for different benefits, right? I can't imagine being online and not able to see hundreds of types and forms of healthcare advice that I receive with maybe expert or not so much of expert in understanding the health perspective altogether. For example, there are gummies these days which helps your gut. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
There are
a lot of supplements that have come out.
There are fizz tablets which sort of says this is your daily green dose.
Yeah.
The famous ones are ashwagandhas, right?
So you're talking about nutraceuticals.
The nutraceutical space, the supplement space altogether, right? And finding them over the counters.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe when there was something which is one single-handed and it was more trusted, maybe today even if I read at the back what it is, what does it contain and stuff like that, I don't feel very confident of, or very, how do I say? I don't like it that I have to take one tablet every day to maintain my health. That whole notion is something that I'm not very, I've taken some tablets and I was like, okay, mera vitamin levels are top pe rakhenge. But I took it for a few days and I was like, okay, I'm not too keen on these things. So first of all, like help me understand this entire popularity around nutraceuticals and supplements that people are saying, and a lot of people use Ayurveda as a key word in it. So what's your take on that?
So again, I have seen a tsunami of new supplement companies and nutraceuticals that have blended Ayurveda herbs and certain nutraceutical together, and it is like a new
trend,
medication trend, whatever you want to call it. First of all, buying these supplements or nutraceuticals over the counter is a mistake.
Okay.
And people thinking
over the counter mistake है, मतलब online भी खरीदना भी mistake
नहीं चाहिए. So this is not without evaluating certain parameters that Ayurveda advises.
Okay.
So there is a long list
or
of
a doctor as well, right?
So when you meet an Ayurveda doctor, you understand. But right now what we need to understand is that not every herb will suit the person taking it. Okay? So just because you think that this has ashwagandha, it's going to suit me, it's going to help me reduce my stress, it is an adaptogen, it is going to help me gain weight, it's going to help me muscle build and all of those things. That is not true because it varies as per the person's body type.
Okay.
So please understand that Ayurveda is not a generalized medicine, Pankaj. It is a personalized medicine. And the word that I would like to use is personalized precision medicine. So medicine, that I give to a lung cancer patient. And if there is another lung cancer patient with the same diagnosis, I may or may not repeat the medicine A in this patient.
Okay.
Because for me, the prakriti or the body type of the person, in current status, what dosha has got imbalanced, what is the mental health of the patient, how is the gut health of the patient. There are n number of factors which I judge during the consultation, and then I come to a conclusion whether or not this medicine or this nutraceutical is suitable in this patient.
Okay.
Luckily for me, my patients always listen to me. So I'll give you an example of how things panned out in this one case. So we have in my apartment, there is an auntie who is a diabetic, and she comes to me for treatment. So her son, who is in US, did a lot of research, and then he came out with he says, this is from so-and-so company, and it is a diabetes kada. So there's a kada for diabetes, very nice packaging.
So it's from US?
Yeah, it's from US. Like, Mommy, I've ordered this for you, and you have to start taking it from tomorrow and stuff like that. But she being my patient, she's like, wait, I'm going to check in with Dr. Aditi first, and I'm going to ask her if these ingredients are suitable for me.
Okay.
For my kind of diabetes.
Makes sense.
Just because people ki aapko diabetes hai, कि आप आयुर्वेद में A, B, C herbs है, सब ले लो. No. So she came to me, she showed me. I was very impressed with the packaging. So I think that's a trend right now. With everything,
sold on the packaging.
Very...
that's so bad, but
very
it
attractive,
attracts a lot of people without
exactly. That's what happened. That's
where everything circled back to saying, oh, it worked for me and it did not work for me.
Correct.
Of course, it's not supposed to work for you.
Yeah. And then they blame Ayurveda because it's slow and doesn't work and stuff like that. But, when she showed me the packaging, I scrutinized every single, there were 9 ingredients for diabetes, and I scrutinized every single ingredient. And then I checked in with symptoms once again. I knew her history from long time. And that's when I gave a green signal, ki, okay, you can use this, but only for so-and-so period.
Okay.
And I have also reduced the dosage of what was mentioned in it. So काढ़ास भी सबको सूट नहीं होता है, they're very drying. तो आप एक नंबर ऑफ डेज के बाद अगर लेते हो तो इट स्टार्ट्स ड्राइंग आवर बॉडी, स्किन ड्राई हो जाता है, गैस्ट्राइटिस हो सकता है.
Right.
तो है साइड इफेक्ट्स हर चीज़ के, बट सेल्फ अवेयर है ना दैट आयुर्वेदा हैज साइड इफेक्ट्स एंड कॉशियसली यूजिंग every nutraceutical or herb, that should be the goal. And this I speak on behalf of every doctor. I'm pretty sure like there are a lot of dedicated clinicians right now who are doing this, and especially the new generation, you know, they are doing this. But for me precisely, yes, no over-the-counter use of any Ayurvedic product, be it nutraceutical or be it single herbs or anything without consultation. So हम लोग consumers को blame करते हैं पंकज, but it's actually the owners should lie on the doctors.
Okay.
Whether or not आप उस कंपनी के प्रैक्टिसेस कैसे हैं, कल्टीवेशन के प्रैक्टिसेस कैसे हैं, कैसे वो हर्ब पिकअप हुआ है, क्लिनिकली टेस्टेड है कि नहीं, इज इट सूटेबल टू बी यूज्ड इन, देयर आर डिसीज के टाइप्स होते हैं. सिर्फ डायबिटीज़ बोलेगे तो उसमें भी बहुत सारे टाइप्स हैं. सो कौन से टाइप ऑफ डायबिटीज़ में आप ये देना चाहोगे? सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट द डॉक्टर शुड एक्चुअली स्पीक टू द फार्मेसी पीपल, एंड वंस दे हैव एन आइडिया, वंस दे, दैट्स हाउ आई जज.
So, do you think these nutraceuticals that people make, I'm sure at the back end they would have some amount of R&D done by a doctor
of course,
itself?
Yeah, that's changing. That R&D department in Ayurveda has really improved.
Okay.
And like when we have meetings regarding product lines, you know, stuff like that. So we thoroughly examine.
Right, yeah. And then everything, they stitch it to turmeric as well. Like, if you see every major D2C company or product companies, right, over the god, have always taken, like Dabur has taken Chanprash and the trust with it, right? That there are,
correct.
Sure, there are a lot of other.
Correct.
If you think about turmeric, right, then there could be a product very much closely associated with it. And if you see now the company like Mamaearth and everything use that very heavily as part of it. And then some other drug will come in, like nowadays people talk a lot about ashwagandha in being used, asli kaun sa hai, nakli kaun sa hai, but how recommended it is in terms of, I know that could benefit, but is it safe for an over-the-counter sell ashwagandha tablets or pastes or whatever the form that they comes in? What's the story behind this?
So again, being blunt, no.
Okay.
Not safe to use. Not even ashwagandha, not curcumin, no turmeric, whatever way it is sold. So when we talk about the medicinal benefits, that's how they are sold. Right? So ashwagandha is an adaptation. Stress level कम करने में help करता है. Sleep issues जिनको है, like you're not getting proper sleep, take ashwagandha at night. So curcumin, turmeric में जो main ingredient है, it is known to reduce inflammation at a very molecular level, and that is proven. There are no two ways about it. But will it suit a person with high body heat or high pitta imbalance in the body? The answer is it will not suit such people.
Then
so
hence the side effects.
Hence the side effects. So when you look at it, people who take curcumin might face aggravated acne, or they might have acid reflux. They might face heartburns as one of the common complaints. Even ashwagandha. Ashwagandha has ushna potency or ushna virya, we say in Sanskrit. So it is a herb that kind of increases body heat. So suppose a patient जिसके already body में बहुत सारा heat है, जहाँ पे पित्ता imbalance already है, ashwagandha लेता है for sleep issues, that is not going to work. So don't blame Ayurveda for it. Don't say कि it is the wrong application of the herb that did not give you the desirable result.
So, but they can sell it for a particular result, right? As you said, it could help you improve sleep.
Yes.
Or people also sort of say, it gives you a lot of energy. People may have started using ashwagandha
strength and stamina, yes. Yeah, strength.
So
the same concept applies, Pankaj. The rule for me is when we say ashwagandha, turmeric or any other herbal product, the rule is first get yourself assessed with an Ayurveda doctor, understand your imbalances, doshic imbalances, कौन सा वात पित्त कफ whatever imbalances you're having, understand your prakriti constitution, most importantly understand your gut health. तो अगर आप ऐसे प्रोडक्ट ले भी रहे हो and you have a poor gut health, the chances are that these products will not even get absorbed into your system. तो अगर आपका न्यूट्री एब्जॉर्प्टिव पावर बॉडी में, जैसे हम अग्नि जिसको बोलते हैं, एपेटाइट एंड एब्जॉर्प्टिव पावर जो है वो इनहेरेंटली वीक है, और आप मेडिसिन पे मेडिसिन ऐसे लेते जा रहे हो ओवर द काउंटर वाले, तो इट्स डेफिनेटली नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क. इट इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू गिव यू द रिजल्ट, and then don't blame Ayurveda for it.
Do you think India will become a pill country after a while, how US is today? US में अगर आप देखो तो
God, I hope not.
but हर किसी का
yeah. I get your question.
They have comparisons to what pill versus what pill you're taking. Like you're taking Samsung versus Apple iPhone kind of comparison. And everybody sort of adopting them to their lifestyle in such a way that है नहीं अगले 2 दिन मतलब हर दिन सुबह उठ के ये 2 टैबलेट, दोपहर में रात में ये 1 टैबलेट, and they sort of stitch it with some digital thing as well at the same time, and then say कि so do you think India will become a pill country? Because इतने सारे options हैं, मेरे घर पे ना चाह के भी 2 विटामिन के टैबलेट के डब्बे तो होंगे. I mean I'm not sure how to consume. मैंने जैसे बताया कुछ time I did it, but then I was like कि इतना ज़्यादा तो नहीं मन कर रहा है मेरा हर दिन
That's because
देने का.
You took the decision, right? To stop. You were self-aware at some point of time. So that awareness is missing. That self-awareness is missing. I hope not.
But then
I hope
been
not.
pushed and shared like that, right? So obviously, if you look at it on like this used to happen with more say visible effects, like people used to sell hair medicines and skincare and all of those. I think those were external.
Correct.
So they were heavily advertised.
Yeah.
And with sufficient health benefits, it may have not worked for a lot of people, right? But it was external.
Correct.
Now, what scares me is the way it has gone internal for people to sort of start consuming capsules after capsules and pills after pills, right? There was one of a pharma company I was working with, and he's told me, Pankaj, do you know what is the one thing in the world that we swallow? It's just a tablet. If you look at it, there's nothing else you swallow in your life, right? You don't.
You're right.
Like tablet is the only thing that you swallow. Everything else is consumed. Normally. That you do. I was like, okay, makes sense.
So I really hope India doesn't go that way, because the kind of science we are blessed with. Ayurveda should be known more for its diet and lifestyle practices, Pankaj, rather than the herbs and other pills and capsules that we are talking about. The implementation of Ayurveda should be at that level. That kind of practices is something that we need to promote, not marketing gimmicks or creating new products. We do not need new products in Ayurveda. I think we already have enough of them. But the knowledge of how and when to use a certain product, until when to use, is more important. And as an Ayurveda doctor, my first prescription is always about dietetic corrections.
Okay.
The second is lifestyle.
Okay.
Third goes into very basic herbs and medicine, if at all required. This is how I tell my patients.
These are 3 steps.
These are the 3 steps, Pankaj. I don't...
Khana अच्छे से देखो. What you're putting in your body
What you're putting in your body, and lifestyle आपका. That is important. And the kind of results that these things give, my patients at least, they report improvement within the first week of starting treatment.
Right.
Be it any chronic illness. Because that's how confident I am in implementing these practices. Unfortunately, what has happened in Ayurveda also is because there are so many medications. I have seen doctors prescribe 16 to 18 medications in patients with chronic illnesses. So कोई arthritis का patient मुझे आके बता रही थी कि किसी आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर ने उन्होंने prescription डाला था. So when I looked at the medicine, there were 18 medicines. And दो medicines का combination mix करके लेने को बोला था. She ended up having side effects. She didn't go back to that doctor. So it's not about selling the medicines. The medicine in the prescription has to be bare minimum. Minimal only as per requirement.
The fundamental problem here, the way I see it, is that healthcare in the whole Ayurvedic space has started to give you solutions.
Correct.
Honestly, solutions is just an experience. The way you sell it, it has to be sold as a product only. So when you say that there are enough products out in the market, the thing is, it doesn't matter how many products you have, but how it is actually being reached or given to the people, or how do they consume it. What
how
really,
much
really
it
matters. For
is
example, companies like, say, Forest Essentials and everybody have taken external, they've taken a category and built a business out of advanced Ayurveda or luxury Ayurveda altogether, right? I'm assuming if they're so expensive, they should work. Like at least they're using the right set of ingredients. That's not true. I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming, right? But they're expensive as hell. But they're positioned it for people इसको पता है यार FMCG वाले product में कुछ कर सकते हैं. It's maybe not organic and stuff like that, and they can trust for us essential. And plus, obviously they marketed it really well and became a very gifting thing altogether. There is a lot of, and you are also part of that company called Aromatize, right? The essential oils that you have. And the way the essential oils and everything also been sold out in the market in terms of, and I'm pretty sure they're great. So one of the roll-ons that you have given me during the time of COVID, right? That you put.
So the roll-ons is for external application.
Yes. And that seemed to be amazingly awesome product when women are on their periods.
So yes. So a lot of indications for essential oils, but it's important to note that what at Aromatize, we only prescribe them for external application.
Correct, of course.
So external essential oils when consumed internally do have some amount of side effects. So we don't do that. So the roll-ons or the bottle blends what we have. So you can use it during bath time, or the roll-ons is sleep time.
Correct.
But this is what I'm talking about, integration. So essential oils per se are not Ayurvedic.
Okay.
But they are oils naturally extract from plants. So, and absolutely no chemicals. So it is just an extract from the plant. So when you integrate, if I have a patient like with high levels of stress and anxiety, I would not consider putting the patient on a pill on first go. So my concept is key first, understand the root dosha. And to treat that root dosha, we'll first talk about certain external therapies, like there is an Abhyanga or there is a Shirodhara as part of external Panchakarma procedures. And then I also provide them with essential oils, which is basically the aroma from the essential oil kind of helps calm down the mind and puts the person to sleep.
I understand.
So I'm integrating two sciences here. I'm integrating Ayurveda. I'm integrating it with aromatherapy.
Okay.
And I'm not asking my patient to consume a pill. I'm doing this very externally and with very simple diet and lifestyle corrections. So this is how the initial treatment plans at least pan out.
Interesting.
So don't put the patient in a position where उनको alarm लगाना पड़े. हर 2 घंटे बाद ये medicine लेनी है. Will you do that if I tell you?
Can't.
When I know that these lifestyle changes, this diet.
That is also tough, but okay.
No, but so that's what the thing is, Pankaj. From why Ayurveda people think it is tough is because Ayurveda makes you work on yourself.
Yeah.
And लोगों को वो करना नहीं है. So, but the minute you start doing it, it is addicting.
Obviously, any habit you start
any
doing
habit,
it can be very addicting. So, a very interesting thing that you sort of brought on, right? So, with that roll-on itself, what do you think? I'm again taking more trendy and buzzwords of feeling that's what get advertised to as a consumer who's not from the field is what they will just think about. Yeah. What is kind of a role that Ayurveda can play in a mental health case or this area?
Right. I was telling you previously that Ayurveda is the science of mind and body and soul as well. The soul part we'll just leave it away from now. But Ayurveda doesn't segregate the mind from the body. When we say holistic approach hai, then we are also considering a patient's mindset. We are also considering their mental symptoms along with the history of the physical symptoms that the patient is facing. So when we take a case, it is the physical history, medical history, कि आपको acid reflux हो रहा है, ठीक है, कितने महीने से हो रहा है, we'll note down. Take entire diet, take entire lifestyle. Then talk about the mental health of patient. Anxiety है. Stress है, yes. नींद आ रही है, नहीं. 3 parameters which are directly associated with increasing acidity issues in a patient. So now I know the root cause. So I'm not going to give antacids, right? I'm going to talk about how are you going to manage your stress? How are you going to manage your anxiety? What breathing exercises can I teach you today? And what dietetic corrections are you going to make to help yourself get rid of this condition? Okay? Root cause analysis. तो आयुर्वेदा में जब हम केस लेते हैं, mental health, physical health is never separate. They are interlinked and each of them can cause symptoms to each other. So
good bad.
अगर good bad जो भी है वो, तो अगर आपको एसिडिक फिजिकल कंप्लेंट के साथ आप डॉक्टर के पास आए हो, तो उसका इंडिकेशन रूट कॉज है कि आपको एंग्जाइटी है या फिर आपको ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस है, वो आपसे मैनेज नहीं हो रहा है. दैट इज इम्पैक्टिंग एक्सेस एसिड रिलीज इन द बॉडी, इन द स्टमक.
Interesting. But the person who's, say, right now completely into diagnosis clinically depressed,
Right.
are facing some sort of severe anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Obviously,
The Ayurvedic analysis of it.
Yes, then obviously there would be one, and then in allopathy, obviously there is a pill for it,
Right.
that you can take.
True.
Right? So in Ayurveda, what's the approach generally if someone has to come? What do they? I mean, of course, after you, and is it right? But
So जब हम लोग फिजिकल सिम्टम्स को एनालाइज करते हैं तो वी ऑलवेज कंसिडर देम अंडर वाता पित्त और कफा कि विच दोषा इज एक्चुअली कॉजिंग दैट इम्बैलेंस ऑफ सिम्टम द सेम वे कि अगर पेशेंट को एंजाइटी है डिप्रेशन है तो द फर्स्ट असेसमेंट इज कि विच दोषा इज कॉजिंग दैट एंजाइटी और दैट डिप्रेशन
okay,
सो वंस वी डू दैट रूट कॉज एनालिसिस कि पेशेंट को कफा बेस्ड डिप्रेशन है तो देन द ट्रीटमेंट लाइन कम्प्लीटली वेरीज
okay,
like I said, we don't separate mental and physical health. But अगर आप सिर्फ mental health की बात कर रहे हो तो Ayurveda has much more effective solutions
okay,
in collaboration with whatever psychologists or psychiatrists are doing.
okay.
So, like I said, pill is not the solution for everything. Again, it might be controversial, but I'm saying it. But if somebody is not able to sleep, is anxious, maybe try a Shirodhara.
Right.
Go to your doctor, first see whether or not you're eligible for the treatment. It is an external treatment. ज़्यादा शिरोधारा करने से भी हेडेक्स होते हैं तो एक टाइमलाइन रहता है उसका तो 20 मिनट का कर लो see how you feel, see how then work on yourself. If you're able to go for a meditation, if you're going to एंजाइटी और डिप्रेशन का ट्रीटमेंट मेडिटेशन है ऐसा भी मैंने बहुत बार सुना है बट दैट इज नॉट ट्रू नॉट एवरीबडी कैन मेडिटेट
As much as people think about the medical treatment for mental health and everything, I think it has to be a mix of everything. It
Exactly.
is, because when you're a little upset here or something is wrong here. It is no one thing that will help you as a
absolutely
with zero knowledge.
100%. No, I agree with you 100%.
Because I would want to. I'm sure a lot of people say that you can't understand what a certain person is going through, and I completely agree that. But what I do understand is that there are few things that a person can do, which will probably break the monotony.
Correct.
Of life.
So
breaking the monotony of life is very important for any depression.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing.
But I would not say that Ayurveda is the sole solution for it. Like I said, like supportive treatments.
Right.
उसके अंदर आप consider कर सकते हो तो ये अभी जो बोल रही हूँ essential oil से that is a supportive treatment.
Right.
If and when medication is required, definitely a person has to go to a psychiatrist or psychologist for counseling and other things. But please take these assisted treatments to help you feel better and reduce your dependency on the medicines.
Right.
So Ayurveda has a pivotal role in maintaining mental health of a person. But if you ask me personally, the best drug for mental well-being is exercise on empty stomach.
On empty stomach.
Yeah. So, empty stomach, let me make
I
that clear.
play 7 to 9. I exercise evening 7 to 9. I'm mostly empty.
Yeah.
Because lunch किया है उसके बाद में खाली.
Exactly. That's the thing. So, empty stomach doesn't mean कि
सुबह
में, हाँ. So, empty stomach, you don't take food in your stomach and don't jump around for playing basketball. That's doesn't work that way.
So, you spoke about Shirodhara just now in your statement, right? There are so many different set of practices that are there.
Yeah.
And according to you, it should be more spread out with people. Like people do more Shirodharas regularly, right? And for someone who's recommended, for somebody
for mental health specifically,
especially with that,
anxiety
that topic,
and stuff,
right?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of new innovations in tech that is coming in.
True.
All kind of, it doesn't look. I've seen your setup. It has a very fancy looking machine for Shirodhara that is there right now, isn't it? And what it is and what does it help with?
So I'm really glad that Ayurveda is becoming more technology based. Tech savvy. That was something that was missing, I think. And I think just because of that one thing, people have started to take it seriously.
Right.
Okay, so it's, So I was very thoughtful and I made a very conscious decision about what kind of Panchkarma unit I want in my clinic.
Right.
And it took a lot of research and zeroing in on the correct equipment for me. So the unit that I have is like an all-in-one Panchkarma table.
Okay.
So there are literally, Panchakarma, it's like 5 therapies, but there are literally a lot of variations in it. And we can do almost 30 to 35 therapies for different types of chronic diseases. And all of these therapy types can be done on the single Panchakarma unit. So I can modify the unit according to my patient type and what kind of Panchakarma therapy is required.
Interesting. What are the top therapies in Panchakarma and what do they help with?
Yeah. So coming from a, let's say, cancer prevention perspective, I'm talking about internal Panchakarma therapies. The ones that I have used mostly with a lot of success is Vasti or enemas.
Okay.
So there are 2 types of enemas. One is a decoction-based enema, or we call it as Niruha Vasti in Sanskrit. And one is oil enema or Anuvasan Vasti. So ये हम लोग alternate देते हैं. Of course, not all cancer patients are eligible for it, but the ones that are eligible, उनको alternate days for 8 days or 16 days, ऐसे करके 5 days, whatever. तो ऐसे ये treatments मिलते हैं. So this is just internal Panchakarma.
Okay.
Then there is external, lot of Panchakarma therapies are there. So the Shirodhara being one. Shirodhara का automatic Shirodhara unit भी है.
Achha.
So, which actually there is, a therapist might not be required, but the machine like just, the person is lying on the dhroni or the table and there is a machine that oscillates the oil.
Correct.
It regulates the liquid flow
Correct.
of the oil कि ज़्यादा ना गिरे and कहाँ पे गिरना है वो बराबर से it kind of calculates that and then it oscillates automatically. So जब हम लोग manually शिरोधारा जैसे हम लोग सीखते थे तो there is a lot of noise in the therapy.
Okay.
तो therapist अभी गरम करेगा, take the oil from there, then pour it in the dhara unit, तो वो swoosh sound comes, and really a lot of these therapies require silence.
Right.
I personally feel that there shouldn't be any external disturbance.
Right.
Okay. तो जैसे आप स्पा में जाते हो तो you have a specific kind of silence to it where the patient is actually relaxed. But in this kind of therapies, because of these automated units and all of those things, the external noise has reduced a lot. So you just pour the oil, it kind of gets warmed automatically in the unit and it drips correctly. The oil flow and the oscillations we can set and timer रहता है 20 minute का शिरोधारा, very silently it is done.
Understand.
So
this obviously these therapies and treatment types are for certain set of chronic ailment diseases that there are, right? So according to you, Ayurveda or the therapies and what is available at your disposal as a treatment come out with a fleet of doctors which sort of believes in both sides of the world and sort of helps in the benefit of patients. Simple as that. There is no other mantra to what it is, altogether. So there is a huge myth, with regards to how Ayurveda has been adopted by the old generation and new generation.
Okay.
Yeah. So the new generation is consuming products, but the old generation has been building their own, way of
Ayurvedic life.
Or they had at least some consultant where they will always talk to in terms of their Ayurvedic.
अगर आपको एसिडिक फिजिकल कंप्लेंट के साथ आप डॉक्टर के पास आए हो तो उसका इंडिकेशन रूट कॉज है कि आपको एंग्जाइटी है या फिर आपको ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस है, वो आपसे मैनेज नहीं हो रहा है. दैट इज इम्पैक्टिंग एक्सेस एसिड रिलीज इन द बॉडी, इन द स्टमक.
What is your personal take on that?
So Ayurveda doesn't say no to anything. Like anything and everything in the universe has some indication to it in terms of health. So agar aap even if you talk about a simpler food, agar aap even green chilies की बात कर रहे हो, red chilies की बात कर रहे हो, तो it has certain ingredient which is helpful in certain diseases. So the same reasoning and application goes for mushrooms as well. But yes, Ayurveda, like when we were studying, we were not big on mushrooms thingy. That kind of just came up now, recent. Like you said, it's just blown up right now. Yeah. And immune modulation as one of the important functions of using mushrooms on every day. And immune modulation thereby helping in cancer prevention. Okay. And there are some experimental studies which have shown that certain mushrooms are useful to kill ovarian cancer cells as well.
Okay.
So, yes. Extensive research on certain mushroom types have definitely helped us understand that this is in this indication they can definitely be used.
Right.
But the way we analyze any ingredient, Pankaj, is we look at the Panchamahabhutik component of it. Panchamahabhutik component is like every element, everything in the universe is made up of 5 Panchamahabhutas, okay, like the ether, Agni, space, Vayu, and Jal and Prithvi. 5 elements, basic. Predominantly made up of Prithvi and Jal, which is the earth and water element. So उसमें उसका predominance है. So what Ayurveda says is mushrooms are not for everyone. जिस patient में आपको लगे कि वो पृथ्वी and water, like earth and water element कम हुए हैं, जहाँ पे आपको replenishment की ज़रूरत है, उस cases में आप mushrooms definitely use कर सकते हो.
This has been blown up now.
It is blown up now. It is blown up now, and now it is gone over the counter also.
Right.
A lot of my patients, like, I have taken this mushroom supplement and all. In some cases, after understanding that this is the right combination for my patient, I have prescribed them. I have prescribed, like, there is a 5-blend mushroom powder that comes. It has helped my patient with immunity issues, okay? बराबर इंडिकेशन पता होना चाहिए. Everything in this world is medicinal, Pankaj. I am not saying this. This is what Ayurveda says. Acharya Charak has also says this. So it is up to us how we use our yukti or logic and our knowledge and our experience to take that particular ingredient and use it in certain condition.
So you'll always see some or the other herb gets more studied and more...
Yes.
And people will always come
People
back
will always
and
talk
respond.
about it, and then... so it's between you and your doctor.
Right.
Your doctor knows your history, the doshic imbalances in and out. So if he or she is recommending it, then you can proceed.
You know, obviously I am at a certain stage in my life where obviously, and a lot of my friends, right, let's just say a bracket of about 30 to 35, or let's even extend it to 40.
Yeah.
Some people that I know. General stages of life, people are married, having kids. What is your recommendation to this age bracket?
Okay. So usually, I think in the 20s to 30s, people are little reckless about the health. They don't care about...
They heal faster.
Yeah,
so
they heal faster. So like, मैं कुछ भी खाऊंगा, पीऊंगा, stuff like that. But the minute I think 30 age bracket जो है, the minute the clock kind of sets in there, it's like people then start to get serious about their health.
Right.
At least I've noticed that a lot in my patients, and especially when they're building a family and stuff like that. So the seriousness of lifestyle and things comes into the picture. But yes, अभी fast paced जो lifestyle है, उसमें आयुर्वेदा की हर चीज़ implement करना बहुत मुश्किल है. मैं खुद नहीं कर सकती, like given the way I run around. But there are certain habits, Ayurvedic habits, if you would like to call it, that we can incorporate, provided we have the discipline and the motivation to continue it further. So we were just discussing about that, like when you wake up in the morning, what you do at that point of time really sets the tone for the rest of your day and your health as well.
Okay.
तो एक तो जैसे उठने के बाद people have the habit of taking the phone to the bathroom or drinking coffee straight away on empty stomach, you know. So what you're doing is, like with these activities, what's actually happening, even alarm clocks, like when we set and we look at them at the phone first thing in the morning, we are kind of imbalancing our nervous system or we are like hyperactivating it. तो आप stressful mode में अपने दिन की शुरुआत कर रहे हो. That will be your tone for the rest of the day. तो सुबह में उठ के
यार अभी देखो प्रैक्टिकलिटी में देखा जाए तो दिन हो सकता है शुरुआत स्ट्रेस से. I mean, even if you try to avoid it, the first thing that maybe, I don't know if I should, but I do check is my email and
200 ml or 300 ml of warm water, lukewarm water per se, you know, that itself is helpful.
Right.
So helps
maybe
with...
mail देख लो लेकिन lukewarm पानी पीते
probably that. I understand with the given lifestyle constraints that we have. And even for me, it's not practically possible to follow this every day. But I make it a point. Conscious habits, you know, to develop this. The way you can inculcate Ayurveda in your life is building these conscious habits. So I'm just talking about not having tea or coffee on empty stomach first thing in the morning. It's like have something and then you can take your tea, coffee. मैं मना नहीं कर रही हूँ. Let's not restrict people and stop them from enjoying their lives. So one of the reasons people are afraid of Ayurveda is that कि आप लोग बहुत restriction करते हो, बहुत मना करते हो and stuff like that. But there is a timeline for everything. And then, like I said, you know, it sets the tone for the rest of the day. तो अगर आप सुबह में उठ के even if you're doing a 15-minute walk, even if you're exposing the body to sunshine in the morning, that is so helpful. विटामिन डी वाइज आपके नर्वस सिस्टम काम करने के लिए, स्ट्रेस कम करने के लिए, so helpful. And all I'm asking is like 15-20 minutes you can definitely spare.
True.
Right? So it takes a great deal of commitment, Pankaj, to ensure that these habits are there. So I'll just give you my experience. Everything was like not great from the beginning. Like I had to put myself in that mode. So I used to like set 10 habits and एक sheet रहता है. I put the habits in them and I track it on every day basis. So those 10 habits including, like I'm a Maharashtrian, we have grown up, सकाळी उठल्यानंतर चहा. What we want? Chaha. So there's no question of water or anything else, right? So मम्मी का भी मैंने हैबिट बंद कर दिया. मेरा तो मैंने बंद ही करा दिया. The minute I learned कि how much drinking tea on empty stomach is wrecking my gut. So that is completely stopped. And now she also takes it after eating something or after breakfast. I do it after breakfast. So let's not start our day with high caffeine thing and hydrate ourselves. And by hydration, I mean hydration, what is required for your body. There are over-enthusiastic people who like, उठेंगे तो डॉक्टर मैंने 2 लीटर पानी पी लिया सुबह में उठ के, तो उनको ऐसा लगता है कि पूरा बॉडी हाइड्रेट हो गया, राइट? सो आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल फॉर दिस. तो आग है, अभी आग जला रही हूँ, एंड कंसिडर दैट अग्नि हैज आवर डाइजेस्टिव फायर, ठीक है? तो आप आग जला रहे हो, उस पर 1 लीटर पानी फेंक देते हो, व्हाट हैपेंस? बुझ जाता है, राइट? द वाटर पुट्स ऑफ द फ्लेम. द सेम थिंग हैपेंस in our gut as well. तो सुबह में आप 2 लीटर पानी, 2 बॉटल पानी जैसे आप लेते हो, you are actually diminishing your agni, you are destroying your digestive capacity. फिर आपको भूख नहीं लगती है. The best health indicator, especially जैसे 30s plus है, सुबह में उठने के बाद ब्रश किया, टंग क्लीन किया, people should have gentle onset of appetite. That is an indication that that gut is working properly and their immune system is active. I always tell this to all my patients. And बहुत लोग, 90% of the patients say कि मुझे सुबह भूख ही नहीं लगती है. So that's never a good sign. Metabolically, it means that the person is unhealthy. Okay. So these little things, drinking little quantity of warm water, gut का gentle detox होता है, आपको भूख लगने लगती है warm water की वजह, it stimulates our agni, so you start feeling hungry. Then best what, you go for a walk 15 minutes, और आपको सूर्य नमस्कार करना है, योगा करना है, do it on empty stomach to your capacity, and then come back. Now this is a habit which is actually the worst possible thing that's happening to this generation right now, is people having breakfast without taking bath. So there is a significance of bath, snana, as we say in Sanskrit. When we take bath, it kind of stimulates our metabolism. वो empty stomach पे जब exercise करके आप नहाते हो, तो that's when our metabolism starts to align. And it kind of increases. So आपकी अग्नि increase होती है, you start feeling hungry, you become metabolically healthy. That means जो cells से toxins जो निकलने जाते हैं, वो आराम से निकलते हैं. So the detox procedure happens in our daily life. Our body is very intelligent to do it. So, but the things that we do, it kind of gets put off. तो गर्म पानी पिया, exercise किया, have warm water bath, then you eat something, you have your breakfast or warm foods and stuff like that. But a lot of patients that I have known, when I take the case, people actually have late baths nowadays for some reason. And कुछ लोग तो रात में नहाते. So I'm not I take twice a day, because obviously morning for the office and evening after your workout, obviously you have to. After workout, yes, it works, but before dinner.
खाना खा के तो कौन ही आएगा, खाने से पहले.
That is that one problem actually causes our metabolism to become slow. फिर लोग बोलते हैं कि मैं इतना एक्सरसाइज कर रही हूँ, मेरा weight ही loss नहीं होता, because you have a weak metabolism, because you're doing all of these things wrong, right? So
these a lot of people try to track all your macros and micros these days, right? इतना protein खाया, fiber खाया, and they sort of have a very strict diet. That type of diets also, I don't want to get into that as well. Overall, obviously, there are a lot of advocates on only having one meal a day as well, right, at the same time. For reasons I'm not able to, or I'm not equipped to sort of say. But what is you as a doctor in terms of understanding general life of people, right? Recommend or suggest
regarding the macros,
macros and
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so high protein diet, less carbs, keto diet, जो भी है, fancy terms which I don't agree with. The concept of Ayurvedic nutrition is very unique, and we have decided to blend the best of both. ठीक है, तो more than macros, it is the micros. So आपके vegetables, fruits में आने वाले minerals and vitamins naturally जो occurring है, वो absorb हो रहे कि नहीं is the question. तो आप high protein diet ले रहे हो and your gut is very bad or it's very weak or your digestive capacity is very poor, and there is no question of the diet or the vitamins and nutrients getting absorbed into our system until we clear the gut. Until we address gut issues, there is no question of taking multivitamins, multiminerals and all of those things. First, work on absorption. And before that, what Ayurveda says is कि Agni, the concept of Agni or the digestive fire is the most important one. तो आपकी हर किसी की भूख की कैपेसिटी अलग होती है, तो आप क्वांटिफाई नहीं कर सकते डाइट को. Correct. इतना कार्ब्स, इतना प्रोटीन्स, इतना फैट्स लेना, वो एक जनरलाइज थिंग है, बट पर्सनलाइज करना इज इम्पोर्टेंट. तो किसी को इतने से राइस में उनका पेट भर जाता है, कोई 3 कप खा लेता है, राइट? सो इट वेरीज ऑन हाउ आवर अग्नि इज बिहेविंग. सो वी लिसन टू आवर अग्नि. भूख कितनी लगी है, नॉट फिलिंग द स्टमक टू फुल, एटलीस्ट 3/4 एंड लीव द 1/4 एज इट इज, एंड देन वर्क ऑन improving absorption. There are wonderful Ayurvedic remedies for it. I can't give out names for the same, but wonderful Ayurvedic powders which have helped a lot of my patients, including cancer, improve their absorption of nutrients. I do not start my patients on these micronutrients immediately until I work, until I'm confident that their gut health has improved, then I start on it. So when you're talking to your doctor about a diet, it's not about carbs, proteins and fats. It is about how strong your Agni is, how equipped your body is to absorb those nutrients, what you're digesting. अगर वो लेवल पे ही पुअर है तो आप कितना भी फैंसी डाइट ले लो हाई प्रोटीन वाला, it's not going to work.
Again, it sounds very scientific and effort for people. So whatever that you obviously see or hear online, whatever you try to do self-assess. Obviously, you can do a lot of self-assessment as well. There is obviously, your body well.
Yeah.
You know what works for you.
Correct.
I hate cholas, I can't really. But at the same time, I think I can really have 3 plates of rice, right? But I can have them with maybe dal or chicken.
Correct.
But I can't have it with chola or rajma.
Correct.
I don't really enjoy that.
Bloating and all of those things happen.
बहुत ज़्यादा मेरे को ऐसा लगता है.
Very high vata, yes. Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I know what my body sort of reacts to.
Correct.
Right, altogether. And it's not that it is, I hope it's not like a condition, but it's just the way.
No, it's the way your body is responding. Yeah. And we should listen to those. It's not like a disease symptom or something. You have taken a certain food and it is not suiting your body.
Plus, it's also to do with what you have, got. How did you got to the stage? I mean, where were you? Like, I don't think cholas and rajmas were introduced to me for a very long time, I guess. I don't know. Not sure. But it also depends on how you're up.
So what you're talking about is concept of sattva in Ayurveda.
Okay.
तो कितना हम लोग used to है उस food को लेके.
Like I can drink raw milk like anything because when I was back in my village, I could chew that. We had all side of these things. But मैं लोगों को जानता हूँ आज की date में
nobody can
digest this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
People, it's meat, but people cannot digest mutton, but I digest mutton like anything and my favorite meat, right? So I think it's just the way your body is, what it can work with and what it cannot work with. It's to do with your generation, your genes, it's to do with everything that that's why people keep asking me here at the office as well, why do Kerala people have such nice hair? And I kind of like, hote to hai, but why do they have it? I don't know. Do you have that answer?
No, okay. So I did my MD from Kerala.
Asha,
so I was in Ernakulam for 3 years, 3 best years of my life.
Okay.
Lot of observations, and we used to envy their hair. Because my colleagues used to have gorgeous
Kerala hairs,
thick black hairs. So a couple of observations. I think everybody will agree that the diet, everything is cooked in coconut.
Oil.
हाँ, तो coconut oil रहता है, but in a lot of sabjis and other things they put like fresh coconut on top as well. So that is one of the healthy fats. Okay. So that helps in hair thickness and shine and every other thing. Second is उनके diet में very fish, because it's Andhra Pradesh हम लोग बोलते हैं, it's a watery country है. तो fish in the diet rich in omega 3, omega 6, 9 and everything. So it is always linked to good healthy hair. So that is one thing. And उनके diet में पंकज curry leaf कड़ी पत्ती बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. And which is curry leaf, intake of curry leaf in Ayurveda is again said to be good for hair issues. So again, depends on whom it is suiting. But yes, curry leaf उनके diet में अच्छे से रहती है. Fish is there. And coconut in everything. So that is one thing. And then when you look at Kerala's climate, it is humid. Humid. तो वहाँ पे hair जल्दी dry नहीं होता है. So there's a moisture in the hair, and that kind of helps, with the thickness and other things. And I think lastly, Kerala is the land of Ayurveda.
It is. Everything comes from there. I don't know how, but it does.
Yeah. So there is a Vaidya Parampara there and stuff like that. And a lot of them were exposed to Ayurvedic principles from very beginning since childhood.
Kerala also contributes a lot of health tourism because of it.
Correct. So because unka base hai Ayurveda mein, so already the children, they already use like better quality oils. जो भी है, like the पंचकर्मा which is there, शिरो अभ्यंगा जैसे हेड मसाज हो गया, शिरोधारा हो गया, शिरो लेपम हो गया, जो कि हेयर इलनेसेस में हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा करते हैं. सो वो लोग बहुत एवरीडे रूटीन के जैसा है ये सब उनके लिए. तो हम लोग कैसे when we have a problem then we go, but for them it's not like that. They have built it in their lifestyle,
and that's what preventive
that's what preventive medicine is really. So I think that is one of the reasons why the hair, it's really, I think the whole world envies kind of Kerala people's hair.
This is fascinating to understand, and thank you for busting a lot of myths for us in this space. I was obviously not a very fan of over-the-counter tablets or anything that I see online.
Yeah.
Very rarely I would order a medicine without consulting you or anybody else. My experience with preventive healthcare, Ayurveda, working with you from last couple of years, right, has been tremendously learning oriented. I speak a lot of your language to my friends. What I hear or learn from obviously your live sessions and what you talk about regularly, and I tell them, that Dr. Aditi bhi is cheez ke bare mein baat karti hai, and you should incorporate, and in just obviously in just a fun way, is like Dr. Pankaj just started speaking, and I was like, I don't understand obviously, but I come from a medical family. My sister is
doctor,
she's a doctor, allopathy surgeon, and I've been working with you for so many years in integrative, and she also believes in integrative medicine a lot more, right? So many young doctors that I kind of interact these days with, I think of her friends, they all seem to be believing in integrative medicines a lot, and I think that's what is needed as well.
True.
Everything else was great that you have mentioned, and I think the top solution that I could, and I've never realized it, was that if you start teaching your doctors about it in their colleges, adding just one curriculum about your own medical history, I don't know what you call it, your medical practice, your oldest in the generational medical practice to be taught to your own students in our country, I think that solves almost everything.
Yeah.
Then it gets educated, then everything gets solved.
Correct.
I think primarily, if you would have to listen to your doctor, we just have to educate them in integrative medicine, and that is what the best going to be.
But I think the scenario is kind of changing towards better. I mean, I'm talking about allopathic doctors accepting Ayurveda. There are a lot of research that has come up in Ayurveda, a lot of studies, experimental studies, clinical studies that are actually proving that so-and-so line of treatment is working in so-and-so case.
Yes.
So the more we document these cases and the more we put them out in the public, I think that's really going to help with integration of Ayurveda.
It is. It has to be an integrative approach, and it has to be taken at the very ground level of studying.
Correct.
Well, great. Thank you so much for explaining whatever questions that we have had. It was a wonderful session. I hope our audience likes it. And then we'll host you soon again with more questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.